Hey Embers, I'm Alira, your emotional support phoenix who will burn away all your fears. And that's a good thing because we're watching another Mr. Ballen video today.
And I'm the voice in your head, but you can call me Doctor. What's up, everybody? I'm one of Alira's mods. I'll be joining you on this video.
The video we're looking at today is about a teen getting terrorized in the woods by a mysterious creature. Are you ready to find out what's going on in these woods and why we shouldn't touch grass, Doctor?
I don't touch grass in general, so yeah.
So I don't know anything about this video. So do you have any ideas what might happen?
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it's something about a teen being terrorized by a creature in the forest.
Are we sure it's in the forest?
Well, I mean, the background is giving forest vibes.
Cabin in the woods. All of his videos I've seen have been good, so I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I know he's a pretty good YouTuber, so I'm interested in this one.
There's a good reason why so many movies that are designed to be scary are set in the woods. Really, the woods at night. And if you go even further, most of them are like a cabin in the woods at night. Right?
That's the one I just said. I just said cabin in the woods.
Did you really? Oh my god,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
And this is why we don't touch grass.
Hot take, I wasn't really a fan of this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't really, I don't know. I guess it just didn't really sit well with me.
Right? It's because being in the woods at night, as human beings, checks a lot of fear boxes. You have the isolation factor. You're far away from society. That scares us. We don't want to be isolated. You feel more vulnerable that way. You know, it checks the darkness fear factor. As humans, we're mostly afraid of the dark because you don't know what's around you or what's looking at you. You know, you don't have the advantage of, city lights beaming in. You're kind of probably removed from lots of light pollution, so you're kind of like in total darkness. And I think
I don't know what he's talking about. Light pollution has never been a fear of mine. I love being out in like the countryside where I can take pictures and stuff like that. So I don't know about that. Is that like a fear for you? Are you scared of not light pollution?
No, I mean, I'm nocturnal by choice, and I love the dark. It doesn't scare me. Now, if I was completely cut off from light sources, yes, I'd be freaked out. And I will say, he's talking about the forest, and like the last 2 videos I've done on Mr. Ballen had something to do with forest. There's the girl hearing the bell in the forest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it is a common thing in a lot of scary stories.
Is it just me or his eyes like glazed over?
They're so glazed over.
Like it looks like he doesn't even know he's telling the story. Like, he's just looking at something far off into the distance. He's looking at the monster that was terrorizing the teen.
No, I think that's the light. I think
it's probably the ring light, but like
yeah.
It just looks like he's looking like 1,000 yards there.
That's just where I paused it, though, I think.
Lots of light pollution, so you're kind of like in total darkness. And I think the third fear check in the box would be the fact that it's easy to hide in the forest. You don't know what's watching you because there's trees everywhere. You have animals, predators potentially, or even predatory humans that could be hiding at every turn. Hollywood has picked up on that and made bunches of movies of, the whole cabin in the woods trope where somebody's isolated and scared in the woods because it works. It's something
I definitely haven't seen any of those.
I can't say I have either, honestly.
Somebody's isolated and scared in the woods because it works. It's something that we are afraid of. And so today's story starts off a lot like all the other kind of cliche cabin in the woods scary stories, but this one, it's different. This one scared the heck out of me. Because as I read the account of what happened...
Wow, for him to be scared.
I think that was honestly just theatrics on his part. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I know. Benefit of the doubt, though.
Well, I mean, he might have actually been scared. And that would be impressive for him to be scared of this. But like, then again, he could also have like a very low tolerance for like fear.
The thing is, with as many stories as he's told and covered, you would think at least one has really like shaken him.
I'd probably say if there was one that like has really shaken him, at least in my opinion, it should have been the one with the schizophrenic lady who also lived in a cabin in the woods.
I don't think I saw that one.
I'll tell you more about it after we're done.
Perfect.
In this cabin in the woods, I imagine myself being in this guy's position and thinking about the psychological trauma that this would have on you. And I've actually had a literal cabin in the woods scary experience, and you can check it out It's one of my top videos on my YouTube channel. It's What I Saw in My Room Still Haunts Me. You can check it out. It's my own cabin in the woods story. But having been through something like that, I was able to put myself in this guy's position, and this story terrifies me. So as you're listening to today's story, try to put yourself in this guy's position and think to yourself, what would you have done? But before we get into today's story, if this type of content appeals to you, the kind of strange, dark, and mysterious that I'm going to deliver to you in a story format, if that's kind of your thing, I would ask you to please gently obliterate the like button and then subscribe to my channel and turn on all post notifications so you don't miss any of these strange, dark, and mysterious uploads that I do.
That's really important to do, so if you could do that for both Mr. Ballen's channel and my channel if you do enjoy my content, thank you. It helps me know what you guys enjoy me reacting to.
Every week. All right, let's get into today's story. In 2010, a 17-year-old boy is devastated to find out that his father had suddenly passed away. And it sent shockwaves through the whole family. Not only because now they're grieving the loss of their father, their husband, but because so much of their daily lives they spent together. I mean, this was a very close family, and one of the things that they liked to do as a family was they owned a cabin. It was around Mount Bachelor in Oregon, this beautiful mountain where you can go skiing. They had this family cabin up there.
The irony of us picking this story for tonight, considering the location and what is going on in my personal life, that is eerie.
Somebody did this on purpose, I'm telling you.
No, like, how would they know? Chatters.
I mean, they wouldn't know, but like, that's...
For context, currently my father is being put into hospice care due to stage 4 cancer.
And I live in Oregon.
Yeah. So with this taking place in Oregon and having a father's death in it, and we're choosing to react to this today, is eerie.
Yeah, we didn't check out this video before either. Like, I purposely avoided this video.
I saw it in a YouTube comment multiple times over the past 2 weeks. I put it in my bookmarks and just chose that one today because it was the one on the top. What are the chances?
Where in the wintertime, this family would spend a lot of time there. They would go up there as a family, spend time there as a family. It was this wonderful retreat.
It's always these blurry photos.
They're trying to settle the estate of their husband, their father, they're trying to figure out what they want to do with this cabin, because all of a sudden this place that, you know, used to bring them so much joy and was a place of very fond memories suddenly felt kind of hollow. You know, it just would never be the same. And so they decided that they were actually going to sell this cabin. And the 17-year-old boy was just really upset about this, you know.
Well, yeah.
He was very close with his father. He had some very fond memories of going hunting and skiing and snowboarding with his dad at this cabin. And so once the cabin was actually put up for sale by this boy's mother, he asked if, you know, before they actually sell it, could he spend some time up there, I guess paying his respects in a way to his father.
Not alone, right? He's not going to stay there alone.
I'm pretty sure he goes alone.
He just wanted one more opportunity to spend some time in that cabin. And his mom said, go for it, you know, take as many days as you want, go up and hang out in the cabin. But when you come back, we are going to sell the place. So
hell no.
His father had actually willed to his son his vehicle. And so the 17-year-old boy loads up his father's car. He goes out and he buys some snacks and drinks, heads up to the cabin in Oregon with the family dog whose name was Midnight. And his plan was just to go up to this cabin and basically try to enjoy being in this space one last time. Don't think about it as this place that now has no meaning because his father had died, but rather a place that he wanted one last positive memory before it was forever gone from their family. And so
I can't say this memory is going to be positive, but he sure is going to have a lasting memory from this story.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, there is no chance he's forgetting this. Especially now that it's been immortalized in a YouTube video.
True.
He's going to have a reminder.
And now there's VTubers talking about it.
Oh, God. It's even worse now.
Hopefully he's a normie and doesn't know what a VTuber is.
I sincerely hope so. But it is Oregon, and Oregon is full of weirdos. So probably not. He knows what we are.
That sounds so threatening.
We were the creatures haunting him. He was watching a video of us.
Guys, I'm a nice phoenix. Just because I have shadow powers doesn't mean I'm evil.
Okay, buddy.
So he gets up there, makes his way to the cabin, and he settles in for what turned out to be an abbreviated stay at the cabin. So in order to understand this story, we need to talk a little bit about the layout of the cabin itself. The cabin was 2 stories, and it was built into a mountain, Mount Bachelor in Oregon. And so the back half of the cabin was kind of settled into the mountain. So there were no windows, save a little sliver of window that fed into the bathroom, actually, in the back of the cabin. The front of the cabin was this beautiful, double-decker cabin with, windows on the second floor that fed into the master bedroom. On the second floor, there was a walk-out balcony that kind of jutted out a few feet from the second deck. The first floor, you could see in through all these beautiful windows. There was a sitting area, like a living room and a TV, and then a small kitchen as well. So the cabin was built in an area that was heavily forested. So they had to clear out, a bunch of trees to even build this cabin when the family had this built years and years ago. And so they really only cleared away the front section of trees so that there was a clear shot to the house. But the sides and the back were very heavily forested with these huge tall pine trees. And they basically had this little tiny driveway that fed in through all the trees, and you had this one kind of clearing in front of the cabin. So if you were on the second floor of the cabin, where there's the master bedroom, there's a bed up there, and you were looking out that window, you'd be looking over the balcony out into a clearing, basically. But there's a tree line, 100 yards past that clearing that's very dense. And there's actually a couple of trees, fairly prominent trees, that are sitting in front of the cabin that they did not cut down.
I'd be so scared I'd look out a window and see something standing in that tree line.
Nah, don't do this to me, because I'll have nightmares about that. Because I watch horror videos, and then within like the next 4 days I'll have a nightmare about them.
No, I watch these things before I go to bed, so I also should heed that advice.
You're imagining things that you're putting into your own nightmares right
now. Well, that's future Lyra problems.
You say that. And so, although I'm not gonna lie, the description he gave for like what the cabin would look like, I have like a mental image. It sounds fucking gorgeous.
Oh yeah, sounds absolutely stunning.
It really does, and I'm low-key kind of jealous.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure after the incident happens, you won't be as jealous.
No, I still want to go. I love cabins and woods and stuff like that.
You and the mysterious creature can have your own vacation.
Okay.
One of which, for the story, we'll call it the sitting tree. Parallel to the ground, about 20 feet up, was this beautiful branch that looked perfect for a whole bunch of people sitting on it. But it was 20 feet above the ground, and there wasn't really any way to climb up to it, and no one was trying to climb this tree. But there's this tree that basically has a seat, if you will. Like the branch is like a seat that is looking directly into the cabin. And that's going to be later in the story. So
that's a plot device for later.
Of course, there always has to be something. I'm going to hate this. All right.
Clearing in front of the cabin with this one kind of sitting tree, and then a very dense forest 360 degrees beyond, that one clearing. So when the 17-year-old gets to the cabin, he goes inside, he puts his drinks in the fridge, puts his snacks on the counter, he hooks up his PlayStation to the TV, and he's just like having a great time. His dog Midnight is...
Doctor, he's got a PlayStation. He might not be a normie. He's got a PlayStation.
Roaming around,
he's not a normal.
Being at the cabin, and he's having a great time. And over the course of the first 2 days that he was there, it was everything he hoped it would be. It was like he was bonding with his father one last time. It was a peaceful time that he was there. He was happy to be there, and he was just enjoying himself, eating snacks and playing video games for a couple of days.
That's sweet.
He left a couple times to go snowboarding too. But on the third day that he was there, things started to get pretty weird. So on the third day when he got up, it had snowed dramatically the night before. A couple of feet of snow on the ground, still snowing pretty heavily. And he's like, I just don't feel like brushing off my car and trying to go to the store or go to the slopes to go snowboarding. I'm just going to basically be shut in for the day. And he was excited about it. He's like, great, me and my dog Midnight can bomb around the inside and play some more video games and eat some more snacks and do whatever. Midday that day, Midnight needed to pee, so he went outside with Midnight and let Midnight run around and go to the bathroom. And while he's out there with his dog, he notices there are some footprints in the snow that looked relatively fresh. And this is the first time that he's left his cabin that day, so they aren't his. And his neighbors were pretty far away, and he figured that they were older, that they were probably not going to be trekking around the woods. So he's thinking to himself, I wonder who made these footprints. And he's looking at them, and they started in the woods. So the woods are not that far away from where he is.
Oh God, don't tell me they go right up to the cabin. They're gonna go right up to the cabin, aren't they?
They're gonna go right up to the tree.
Oh God.
He's in a relatively small clearing just in front of his cabin, but he can tell these fresh footprints have come out of the woods. And they're basically right in front of this clearing. And he notices that they bank around and go to the back of his cabin and kind of go up onto the mountain. And he kind of just starts walking and following the footprints a bit, and they kind of disappear up onto the mountain behind his cabin. And he's not overly concerned or anything, but he definitely takes note that more than likely somebody was walking around his cabin. Maybe it was someone who got lost, maybe it was a neighbor. I mean, he's rationalizing it. He's thinking, you know what? It can't have been anything too serious. Obviously, they didn't knock on my door. They didn't need anything. And so he kind of writes it off. So that night, he stays up late playing video games, and his dog is sleeping next to his chair. And at some point, he's tired and he wants to go to bed. So he draws all the curtains, so blackout curtains around the downstairs, shuts all the blinds, and locks all the windows, all the doors, and heads upstairs to the lofted second floor where the master bedroom is. He, gets in bed, turns off all the lights, everything's locked, everything's shut. The dog climbs into bed, and the dog would sleep up near his head. And suddenly the dog jumps up, still on the bed, and looks at the stairs leading downstairs to the front door. And its ears are perked up, like it's heard something. And it wasn't unusual for the dog to be a little sleepy, maybe it heard something. He wasn't overtly concerned. But when midnight, the dog jumps off the bed and sprints downstairs after having this sudden alertness. And he's listening. Now he is a little bit worried. He's thinking, well, I saw footsteps yesterday walking around my cabin, and now it's the middle of the night, and my dog is downstairs acting like it's heard something. And he hears the dog, Midnight, pacing around the downstairs, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Every indication is the dog wants to go outside. That's the noises that he's picking up that signal from the dog. And so finally, even though he's feeling a little bit unnerved by this, he decides to go down and see what Midnight wants. And so Midnight is by the door, ears perked up, very eager to go outside. It's pacing, and he thinks, you know what, she just needs to go to the bathroom. And so...
What dumbass lets his dog out like that? Like, obviously, the dog's got to go to the bathroom. It's got to go to the bathroom. But if it jumps up like that, you know it's heard something. So there's something that is out there. Why would you let the dog out? You say no, and then you go back to bed. If he pisses on the carpet, he pisses on the carpet. Like, you clean it up the next day. You don't let him out.
That wasn't a normal reaction for a dog needing the washroom. It's just not.
Yeah, no. If he has to go to the bathroom, he's gonna get up slowly, or just like a normal dog, and just walk to the front door and sit by the front door. He's not gonna jump up like he's been startled by something he's heard.
Or
and
like
then rush
intruder
downstairs. And even to top that off, he even paces. He says the dog paces. Dogs don't do that when they have to go to the bathroom. They sit by the door and maybe howl.
Yeah, that's not normal.
This is some white people shit.
He is also a kid, so...
Well, okay. Yeah, fair.
There is that.
With Midnight, and he goes outside, and he expects his dog to pee. But Midnight doesn't need to pee. Midnight starts kind of stalking around the corner and looking out across the clearing towards the sitting tree in that direction, and it just stops. And it's looking at something very intently, as if it spotted an animal or something in the woods.
What did I say? There was going to be something in that tree line.
This is okay. This is one of the reasons why I do not watch this man's videos. I don't know where he finds these photos, but they are the creepiest things I've ever seen.
They really are.
Like, okay, somebody's gonna make fun of me in the comments for this because this isn't a particularly scary one. Like, I grew up in the era where like Slenderman was popular. Like, that looks like Slenderman, and that fuels my nightmares.
Yeah, it's eerie.
Yeah.
And so the boy is looking at the dog, and he's kind of trying to encourage the dog to do its business so they can go back in the cabin. And he's starting to feel really uncomfortable. He's looking around. He's thinking like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm a little bit concerned now. And he's sensing that Midnight is going at some point to try to take off after whatever she sees in the woods. And so preemptively, he grabs Midnight and says, all right, drags Midnight back in the house and shuts the door and locks it and takes one last look out the window of the door and just kind of looks out. I mean, he doesn't have a light or anything. And he's like, man, that's creepy. locks it, shuts the blinds, confirms everything downstairs is locked, does a sanity check to make sure everything is locked, and he goes back upstairs with
Good man.
Midnight did not want to go back upstairs. He had to practically drag her back upstairs. And then when they did get back in bed, Midnight refused to get in bed, but instead stood next to the bed looking at the stairs.
Aww.
Periodically
Guard dog.
back at him and then down at the stairs. Midnight wanted to go back outside. So he's laying there in bed and he's taking full stock of the fact that his dog is very much on edge. But he's trying to fall back asleep, trying to convince himself that nothing weird is going on. And after about 30 minutes of that and being unsuccessful at falling asleep, as he's laying there, it's silent, and all of a sudden he hears footsteps on his roof. Now, the roof is right above his head.
No.
He's on the second floor. There's
No.
attic. The roof is right there. And he hears about 6 footsteps. And he actually described it as something with hooves. And his dog instantly looks up as well. And they're
Oh, hell no. No.
Well, okay. To be fair, they are on a mountain, so it could be like a mountain goat. I don't know if we
could
have those
be.
in Oregon.
But still, that's just eerie. Would a dog react to that over a mountain goat?
Possibly, yes, because did it say what kind of dog it was? I don't
No.
remember. It could be a type of dog that hunt. Like, it could be a hunter's dog.
Yeah.
Because like he's obviously got keen hearing and he's fairly well versed. Like his family literally like took him, like his dad, basically his dad, just took him to the woods. So clearly he knows the dog can survive. Obviously he's gonna take care of him, but like he knows that he can survive outside in a cold wilderness. So something like that tips me off that maybe it's like a dog that is like prone to maybe not these conditions, but like the conditions that would require hunting or surveillance or something like that.
Good point. But still, man, that's creepy.
Also, yes. I mean, I think I'm looking up the mountain goats. It says, yes, there are mountain goats in Oregon, primarily in the Wallowa, Elkhorn, and Strawberry Mountains, and then the Central Cascades. Doesn't say anything. Yeah, it's very possible, but I don't know if you've ever seen a mountain goat. They're terrifying.
Yeah, they're
terrifying to look at.
Scary.
Like I would be terrified if one of those was walking on my roof.
Understandable.
both watching the ceiling as what sounds like hooves walking along the roof of this cabin. And it was so distinctive that immediately what he's thinking to himself is, how could a deer or a moose or something get on the roof
A moose?
of the house?
Okay.
We don't have
There's
moose.
no way, unless you like leapt from a tree or had a ladder, for you to get on the roof. And how did we not hear, if they leapt from a tree or a ladder even, how didn't we hear a loud slamming sound when they first landed on the roof? Like, it's as if they've been there for a while and we just didn't know. And so then the footsteps stop, and at this point the dog stops looking at the roof and goes right to the balcony, which is shut. There's a door shut to the balcony, and there's curtains drawn against the balcony, so he can't see what's out there. And so the 17-year-old boy is sitting in his bed, and he's like, oh, I don't want to see what's on the porch. And he even says in his write-up about this that he's like, I'm a pretty tough guy, but I am in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the night, totally isolated. Like, I almost don't want to know what's going on outside. I just want to pretend it's not happening.
Yeah.
But at some point, he musters the courage to go out on the balcony. And so
No.
White
What
people
an
shit.
idiot. What an idiot.
Okay, if you're gonna do that, baseball bat, shotgun.
Yeah.
Either one will work. Well, okay, probably not the baseball bat, but like you gotta have some form of protection. And, like, I would take a baseball bat over nothing.
Yeah, no, this is just not a smart move.
Yeah, it's not. I disagree with this. I don't think I would have laid in bed if something broke in. Then yeah, I'd start panicking. But I'm staying in bed, dog. I'll be a bitch. I don't give a.
I'm not gonna investigate it. Nope. Gonna put my earphones in and pretend it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly.
he walks over very timidly to the door, and Midnight's there ready to go outside. And he takes a deep breath and he slides open the blackout curtains. But there's no light outside and there's no light inside, so it's just kind of darkness. And he can barely make out even just the snow that's on the balcony right in front of him. And he takes a deep breath and he unlocks the door and he opens it up. And the first thing he does is he turns and he looks up at the roof to see if there's a deer or a moose or something on the roof. There's nothing up there, and he's kind of peering around, and he can't even see footprints up there. So in a way, he's kind of relieved, right? Like, I must have been imagining that. He had a flashlight, and so at this point, he's looking back at his roof of his cabin, and he shines the light real quick, and it's totally dark out, right? So this light goes very far, and he sees nothing. And the dog at this point, he can hear the dog making kind of some commotion below him. It's angling itself to look out in the direction of the sitting tree and out towards that tree line where the dog had originally.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so something I love about this man, like he is a great storyteller.
He is.
But I wish he would have left the sitting tree part. Like I wish he would have left the telling us that there's a sitting tree part until later on.
Yeah, let the anticipation be there. Don't point it out to us.
Cause the second he said that, I knew there was going to be something in the sitting tree. Like
yeah, that kind of gave it away.
But I do love his storytelling. He is a great storyteller.
He's amazing.
Right. Fixated on something in the tree line. And so just doing his diligence, the 17-year-old scans from the top of the roof where he sees nothing. He starts scanning over to the side of the house. Right, like this is the direction of the sitting tree. He's looking over here, and he's scanning the tree line, just looking for anything that might have been on the roof. And he's looking, and he's looking, and he's looking, and then he gets to the sitting tree. And his flashlight stops on a man crouched on that perch, 20 feet off the ground on the sitting tree, who looked very tall. He had his hands holding onto the branch right above him, and his mouth is open.
Isn't that technically the right?
I'm not going to say it's a skinwalker because I know for a fact that that's not, but
no.
It reminds me of, it's hard to say what it reminds me. It reminds me of the Hide Behind.
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay. It reminds me of the Hide Behind or maybe Bloonies. I don't know if you've ever played Madison or heard of the game.
I haven't heard of that one, no.
I'm not going to spoil that one. It gives me like the Hide Behind. Long, dangly, like limbs. Because clearly he just said it was very tall, so that and if he's gripping the branches, something tells me he's got like very long, maybe nimble limbs.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Also, I don't know if that photo was like an artist's depiction of it or whatever, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like it's kind of like the Hide Behind.
And he's holding onto the branch and he's looking directly at the boy, unblinking, 100% focused on him. He's less than 50 yards away from him at this point. And it took him a second, the 17-year-old, to register what his flashlight was pointed at. And he panics and he drops it. And the dog reacts to the drop flashlight too. And because he's alone out here, he needs to protect himself. So he scoops that light back up and he shines it one more time to see, like, holy cow, like, what did I just see? And the guy on the branch is now gone.
Oh, no.
He scans the ground. There's nothing. And he's terrified at this point, so he grabs his dog, throws Midnight back into the cabin, runs back in, shuts the door, locks it, closes the blinds, turns off his light, and literally gets back in bed with his dog, and he's now basically cowering on the bed. So at this point, they're sitting on the bed. Midnight is no longer acting like she wants to go outside. I think she's picking up potentially on the paranoia.
Oh, you think?
At this point, the boy and his dog are sitting on the bed.
Why you don't get a dog, you get a cat.
Scared at this point. Midnight, was fearsome while she was outside, but now that she's back inside, she doesn't want to go near the door either. She's rubbing up against him. She doesn't want to go anywhere. And they're sitting there, and the boy, all he's thinking to himself is, did I really just see that? It looked like an unnaturally tall man. How did he get in the tree? That's 20 feet off the ground. There's no way to get up into the tree. And why was it sitting there with its mouth open, staring at me? And who was on the roof? Was anything on the roof? And if this thing can get 20 feet up into a tree, it certainly can get on the roof of my cabin, I would imagine. But what was it? So he's having this type of thought process, and he's realizing too that it's not that late in the night. He still has hours until the sun's going to come up. And as he's basically panicking and feeding off his own paranoia, and it's getting worse and worse by the second, he hears tapping on the door, the door of his cabin. And his heart sinks. And he and his dog kind of look in the direction of the tapping, and he knows he's not going to go open the door.
Who would open the door? Are you kidding me? Who is that stupid?
White people would open the door.
No, I would not.
There's a stereotype for white people doing dumb stuff.
Oh, I know.
That is typically considered haunted.
Oh, yeah, but I'm not one of them, and I would not be opening that door.
Well, it's different. You're white because you never go in the sun.
True.
He knows the door is locked. He knows everything is locked. He's panicking that maybe it wasn't, but he knows he locked it. And the tapping just sounds like a finger tapping on the window.
God.
And at some point, the tapping stops.
The imagery is terrifying.
Maybe they'll just go away. And then he hears what sounds like footsteps outside, and then tapping begins on the side of his cabin.
No.
Not front door anymore, like the wall of the cabin. Now it's a little bit louder. The tapping continues up the side of the house, and then it stops. And he's sitting there and he's thinking, whatever this is walking around my cabin. And then he hears tapping on the little slit that is the window that feeds into the bathroom that's right behind the bedroom that he's in right now.
No.
So 6 feet away, maybe 10 feet away, whatever this thing is, it's now literally just a small pane of glass away, tapping on the glass. And so now he's petrified.
To me, what it sounds like, this is just like my analytical brain working.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, what it sounds like is this creature is incredibly intelligent, and it's looking for the thinnest part of the house that it could easily break through.
That's what I was thinking as well. It was trying to find a way in.
It's finding something that it can easily get into. That's what I'm getting from this. And if that is exactly what it's doing, if it's not just trying to terrify him and it's trying to find a way in, that means you're dealing with something that has human level intellect. And you're trapped there for hours at least.
Yeah, and I'd be getting over there the second the sun came up.
Exactly, yeah. Honestly, I'd take my chances running to the car, but I am white, so I do stupid shit like that. So, that is absolutely terrifying. To be in that position is absolutely mortifying. You're stuck in a cabin with a dog, probably nothing to protect yourself, and there is something with a human level intellect that can get into, that is extremely tall, so you know it's bigger than you.
Oh god, yeah.
That is trying to get into the house, or maybe it's just toying with him, which is an even scarier thought. Because if it's just toying with them, it means it knows that he is scared, and it knows how to scare you.
I mean, I'm not even in this situation. I have goosebumps. So
it takes a lot to give me goosebumps, but this is definitely is close.
And so now he's petrified, and he's just hoping that this thing goes away. It doesn't. It goes to the other side of the cabin and starts tapping on the wall on the other side of the cabin, and makes it all the way back to the front, where it begins tapping on the glass of the front window, back to the door. And he's just thinking, whatever this is walking around my cabin, tapping all over my cabin. And then all the tapping stops, and his heart's racing. It's the middle of the night. He's in the middle of the woods somewhere. He's totally isolated. And then it's like his worst nightmare comes true.
Oh no.
He hears footsteps on his balcony.
No.
And then tapping right on the big sliding glass doors of the door leading out to the balcony. And he knows that right behind a black...
I'm sorry, that thought it was funny.
This tall man, more than likely, who's right on his balcony.
Oh god.
Tapping on the balcony goes on and on and on, and then all of a sudden it stops.
I'd be fucking crying at this point.
I can't say what I would do. Shivers down my spine, dude.
Yeah.
But that black figure with the white teeth and white eyes, I'm sorry, that wasn't scary, that was funny.
Okay, that creeped me out a bit, I will say.
And he's just waiting for it to open the door and come inside. But it doesn't. Instead, it goes on the roof, and it starts tapping on the roof directly above him. And the tapping continues all night. And so finally, the sun comes up. He hasn't slept all night, and he finally gets the courage to go over to the balcony and open up the curtains and see what's out there. When he does, there is nothing out there, but there's footprints as if someone had been pacing on the balcony all night. He opens it up and finally just jumps out and looks up on his roof. There's nothing on his roof. He can see all these footprints on his roof. He looks down, and it's like a racetrack of footprints all around his house. Someone had been basically stalking his house all night, and then the footsteps retreat all the way to the sitting tree and then go back into the woods.
Okay, so I think he said this took place in 2010. So not everyone had a smartphone back then or a camera phone. So here I am wishing he had gotten photos of that, but I realized they probably didn't at that time.
Yeah, that's fair. I would have been please get photos of that, but then again, nobody's you got to think nobody's listening to this with the intent of putting it up on YouTube. Nobody's living through this with the intent to put it up on YouTube or send it to Mr. Ballen.
Well, not so much for those reasons, but if it were me, just for proof, I would be recording it.
Yeah, you got to remember he's also terrified. Like, he's not thinking,
Yeah,
I need to
true.
have proof to show somebody. He's thinking, get me the fuck out now.
Yeah, true. Oh god, okay, let's see how this ends.
He packed up his stuff, he left, and he couldn't have been happier that the family sold that cabin because he was never going to go back. So to this day, he has no idea what it was. And even if it was just a person who was tapping on your windows and your walls and your roof and your balcony, even if it was just a human being doing that, that would be horrifying. Let alone if it was something else, something paranormal. And so if you want to check out my video about my experience, it's on my channel called What I Saw in My Room Still Haunts Me. It's eerily similar to the one that I just described of the 17-year-old in Oregon. And so
Yikes.
What?
I don't know. There's something about that story. It's definitely a creepy story.
Yeah, that was unsettling. I do want to hear Mr. Ballen's story himself, so we should react to that another time.
We definitely should. That
Man, this story.
And again, he's really good at, like, he's great at storytelling. Like, you can tell this is something that he, like, actually loves, no matter how terrifying it is, because he puts effort into it.
It's true. He did absolutely awesome. This story was great. It's so scary. Like, I still have goosebumps. I feel for this poor kid. I hope he's doing well now.
Can I have nightmares about this?
Oh no. But what gets me is that we chose this story blindly, and it had so many similarities to the two of us. Yeah, it had a connection. Which, what are the chances? If you haven't joined our community Discord for the Embers in my community, the link is in the description. I stream most nights on Twitch after 2 a.m. CST doing gacha and horror content. And you can often see Doctor there modding the chat, talking with people, and sometimes even being on stream with me.
Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for having me on. It's been great.
Of course. We will be doing this again in the future, especially with mod nights coming up soon. And guys, if you've made it this far, you've survived the flames for now.